Rev TV brings the world of motorsports into your home with over 100 live race series such as MotoGP, IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, Extreme E, World Superbike, and the newly launched all-electric E1 series. From 2 wheels to 4, from land to sea, your destination is Rev TV.
You know as well as I do, Daytona, that is not the norm, and especially tonight might be a little bit chaotic. We got some new faces here on the grid for this new season, and it could create some very intense moments as these guys learn how to race around each other.
The Speedway Blitz series being used as a recruitment tool for the Sim Racing Association, so we'll see some new faces we've not seen this year. Look at time and weather in virtual sim time, November 1st, just past 8 p.m. on a cold track, 78 degrees Fahrenheit, very little wind, Sheldon. This is about as calm could be.
Absolutely, but this is just the calm before the storm, though, because you and I both know what Daytona produces. And correct me if I'm wrong, but don't the trucks have blowovers at Superspeedways now?
They might. We've seen it tested a few times, and well, we'll see lots of things happen. Of course, these trucks, and they have all kinds of awesome aerodynamics in a positive way, possibly the biggest draft suction of any group we'll find. And let's see who can make that happen and who starts from the front and the back as we take a look at tonight's SRA Superspeedway Blitz starting grid. William McKellar IV. Stellar McKellar's up in P1 on the 13 truck next to the 64 of Michael Gudger. We'll go back to row 2. Bryce Hinton is in P3 in the 28 truck next to the 20 of Zane Bailey. Moving back into P5, Carter Casey in the 91 truck sits next to the number 6 of Aaron Raymond, that red, white, and blue style machine. The 053 of Jim Duda, part of Team IEL, is next to Seth Wilbur in the 50 truck. P9, Jeff Gilmore in 57 will line up next to Joshua Jernigan back in P10, Sheldon.
Yeah, run off the grid in 11. It's going to be the 429 machine of Paul Witt with Richard Mays is outside in 12. P13 going to be the 5 machine of John Buwalda Jr. with David Overstreet in 14th. Sorry, 15th place on the grid. Now it's going to be David DeVoe with Joe Nordine in 16th. Going off the grid, P17 is going to be David Harbottle with Thomas Lane Jr. to the outside in 18th. And running out the top 20 is going to be Stephen Littrell with Ned Warden in the 68 machine.
Going to go back into P21 big grid here. We'll pick it up a little bit. Charles Fletcher's in P21 next to Joshua Burke. Noah Swapper's way back there with TJ Washett back in 24th. Ted Beckett in 25th with Laird Eady back in 26. 27, Cody Witt is next to Dan Adkins back in P28. P29, P30, Adam Berberich and Matthew Post round out that part of the field.
31st is going to be Levin Van Leer with Dylan Wilbers to the outside in 32nd. 33rd place is going to be Gregory Smith with Jordan Jung in 34th. 35th place is going to be Michael Dow with Morris Gomillion in 36th. And then 37th is going to be Jim Barg, and well, we are underway.
We are. Green flag is out at Daytona. As we round out through turns 3 and 4 to be finished lap number 1, all is good. 2 wide racing up and down the field. William McKellar is going to lead us around. He'll lead lap number 1 in Daytona. Well, Sheldon, here we are, mostly 2 wide racing from this league. Everyone's kind of in line and trying to find their way to the front.
Yeah, right now what all these guys are learning is who they can work with, who they can't. You know, it's a dress rehearsal for these guys. First race of the season, first time here with a bunch of new faces with the Speed Open recruitment. So there's a lot of questions coming into it. So right now, if I'm in the pack, what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out who's going to the front, who I need to stay away from. Because you really have to have full trust in the cars around you to really be able to make this place work.
Well, that first test of trust is going to happen pretty quick. Sorry to cut you off, Sheldon, but I see a lapped car up ahead. So you talked about a game of trust, a dress rehearsal. It's about to get live really quickly. That is James Yerger back there, and he's at the back of the field. What does he do here, Sheldon? Is he going to stick to the bottom? Looks like it were 3 wide on lap 3.
Yeah, right now the best bet for that lap car is just stay on the bottom, be predictable. You don't want to be the guy getting stuck up there against the wall. You kind of want everybody to just kind of form around you, get yourself back up to speed, back into the draft, and tack on to the low line of the pack here. Given most of the field, probably not fond of that, but as long as you can hold the wheel straight, you shouldn't have too much issue.
Now we always talk about being predictable as a lap car, right? That's what matters the most, is being predictable, and he did. He let the field get by. Actually got down about halfway through the field, maybe a quarter way through, and everyone went on around. So we're back to 2 wide racing, and McKellar now is being passed here by Michael Gudger. Gudger's going to lead this lap, so he'll be the second person to lead a lap. Gudger, a very storied iRacing career, some special event wins. He's won himself a Brickyard 400 this year, and many other exciting moments. I think I saw the LSU stripes on that car, so he may be experiencing the highs of iRacing, but the lows of college football.
So, and I'm enjoying McKellar's new Coca-Cola paint scheme down the bottom there.
Lots of fun paints. Of course, Zane Bailey in that iconic blue. Zane, no matter what vehicle in iRacing you find him in, always is in that blue. There's McKellar. He's got a very interesting helmet on there.
It's looking hungry back there behind the wheel.
It really does. Doesn't get the teeth out. Ready to gnaw and clash his way through the field. Up again. We're working these laps pretty quickly here. Already beginning at lap number 5. And McKellar is yet another one. But here, 2 wide racing. Everyone's kind of calm. Everyone's kind of steady. And when you're racing like this, if you are maybe say 4th, 5th in the back of back in the rows here, Sheldon, what can you do right now? What can you learn? What is your goal right now?
Right now, since we did talk, you and I in the pre-race about them not necessarily, them having a pretty stout no 3 wide rule at the start of this thing, you're kind of just mired here until they finally drop that flag for you to send it. And it's been a while since I've had the opportunity to cover trucks. I know that this is the best draft package we have on this end, but I have heard that, the bottom line has kind of become dominant with all 3 divisions here in NASCAR. So I don't think that the third line all the way up against the wall is going to be great, but when it comes to be showtime, I'm typically the guy that tries to shoot the middle and try to make it work that way, and it works to varying success.
Look at the view back here from Jordan Jung. You talked about just being in line, waiting for that proverbial hammer to drop where you can make a move and just kind of trying to ride, but look up ahead. This has nothing to see but lines of trucks up through the windshield. Here we are working lap number 6 now. It's still McKellar and Gudger working those lines, and right now, this feels like a big game of, I don't want to call it chess, but it's a big game of learning about these drivers, right? Who pushes well, who doesn't push well, who wants push in the corner, who doesn't want push in the corner. Maybe some studying and some note-taking happening for later in this race.
Yeah, the main thing that you're looking for right now in another driver is somebody that's not afraid to get up on the quarter panel, side draft the truck on the bottom or the truck up top, but you also want somebody that can hold a steady wheel. As we see the 28 machine kind of sliding around there, that's what for a lot of guys, it's what you're trying to avoid being tucked up behind or having tucked up behind you. You want somebody that when they're in the turbulent air off of the truck in front of them to be able to hold that wheel completely steady, not move an inch. And those are the guys that you're going to see and come to the front before this thing's over, and those are the guys that you're absolutely going to sign up to work with.
Now, right now, as we see these lines form, no one, as you said, the encouragement from the league is that we don't go 3 wide to a certain lap number. If you're a driver who's stuck in this line, are you worried about temps, though? Because, these trucks do get hot. You can blow a motor in here. So how do you adhere to that rule but also keep your truck safe.
Well, if you're that second or third guy in line, you're absolutely terrified about those temps because you're tucked up to the bumper. You're the one that's in charge of pushing that lane. It all comes down to the second and third car. Outside of that, man, you just ride that thing about 3/4 throttle. Let the temps cool down. Do what you need to. Don't really try to push too aggressive to the back bumper of the truck in front of you. You know you got what you got, and you just got to stay there and ride it out. So you get a little more opportunity further back in the pack to save on your temps and to save on fueling those guys up at the front, and that's going to come in handy at some point here when this thing's over.
And so keep in mind a couple rules for tonight. It is 65% fuel tank, so there'll be a few more pit stops than what you're used to seeing in a truck race at Daytona. 4 tire sets total available to these drivers and 1 fast repair if needed here in this race. Currently working lap number 9. We're already now 10% of the way through this race. It's been McKellar and Gudger telling the story of this race so far, leading back and forth. Just depends on how good the push is behind and who leads. But see that pink truck back there, about 5th in line? That pink truck looks antsy, Sheldon.
Yeah, he's kind of looking like he's trying to gesture to maybe make something happen. Either he's struggling, either that, or he might be struggling with a little bit of the wheel offset, steering ratio. You know, there's a lot of things that
Force feedback.
Yeah, force feedback. There's a lot of things that kind of play into this and can make these things more unstable than they need to be. So it could be a couple of things, maybe temp too, but definitely looks like he's having a little bit of just difficulty here in the tri-oval, especially staying directly in line with the truck in front of him. And unfortunately, once we go 3 wide, I got a feeling that's going to be one of those guys that might end up seeing himself in risk of getting cycled out if he can't rein it in.
Yeah, that's Seth Wilbur in the 50 up ahead of Jernigan. That is the 10 truck on back of him. So he's in. That's Richard May back there in the, or Aaron May back in the 10 truck. And you're right. I do feel like he kind of, it's a signal driver's give, right? You kind of tuck up to the right of the lane. You you're kind of testing the waters, right? You're kind of curious who's going to go with you. And I thought a second ago Seth Wilbur also went up. So I thought they were working on something. But you're right. They might just be riding around. And I do feel like that pink truck, I do feel like there's something there. And I would guess to you, Sheldon, it's the force feedback setting of that truck. I think the force feedback is driving that truck.
Yeah, a little bit more than it ought to be.
Look at my front. Oh. Sorry, that's Michael Gudger to the front. He hopped down in front of the 13. That puts Zane Bailey leading the front lane. And it got damn close to Gudger rubbing paint with the cars behind him.
Yeah, right now what you're seeing is Gudger wants to get down to that bottom line. You don't have to use the throttle as much on the inside lane. It's not as long a track around the speedway. It kind of gives him an opportunity to save a little bit of fuel. You know, being up at the front of the pack with all that drag and wind resistance against you, you lose a lot of fuel mileage doing that. So Gudger probably want to just come down to the bottom and save some fuel. He's probably praying that this 20 truck on the outside line of Zane Bailey is able to get clear so he can come down and, you know, help him really recoup some of that loss.
Bailey now being pushed by the truck on back in the number 6. That's Aaron Raymond, and Bailey's hoping for that. Be pushed to go good. So a new leader up top, a new leader on the bottom in the last lap or so, and we're still seeing a little bit of wiggle here. But overall, things pretty chill across these lines. Everyone kind of holding a pretty steady line. See some gaps in the line. Maybe some drivers who are fuel saving and kind of holding on to it here, but so far, at least on the bottom of the track, a pretty calm race. The top lane, a little different.
Yeah, here comes Bryce Hinton, tugging up to the top, trying to get that top line to form here through the tri-oval. He's going to try and take a swing at the leads. He's got a whole bunch of help from the 20 machine and Zane Bailey just about picking the tires up through the tri-oval. And it's neck and neck up here at the front, but here comes the machine of Bryce Hinton with a huge surge of momentum, but a little bit of contact into him, and a huge crash into one.
I thought he saved it, and I said how, because I wasn't sure how he saved it, but now we're not saving it. Now 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 10 trucks involved in this first wreck on lap 13. Caution is out, and I think it's all going to start, Sheldon, from a bad push when we go back and look at the replays.
You know, I was going to call it out about 2 laps ago. Hinton got lined up just off center a little bit to the back of Gudger, and it looked like it was about to be calamity down the back straightaway, but they got it reined in, and it didn't hurt him too bad. But right here, it just looks like an off-center push coming into 1 and 2.
Well, there's the second part of the wreck. I think we got to back up, though. I think that starts back with Michael Gudger. I think that that Michael Gudger moment sort of checked up the field, and you asked about blowovers. There was a truck up in the air, by the way. But I think that moment with Michael Gudger will start this wreck when we look back a little further in this replay.
What you're looking at right there with that replay was just the chain reaction. Everybody checking up to avoid the wreck that was happening in front of them and themselves getting caught up in the mess as well. But yeah, right there.
So you see right there, they had it saved up front, but the checkup happened and multiple trucks got nervous, kind of swerved, and caution is out. Boy, that's a lot of trucks who are going to use their fast repair pretty early.
You see the Triple Dale Jr. go for a wild ride here through 1 and 2, the 888 car.
It's right on board here. Let's see how this is going to look. This is going to be from Jim Berg, the 888. And it's up top. Oh, he thought he had it cleared. And there he went up in the air. He thought for sure there's a hole open. I got it. I don't got it.
Yeah, those Days of Thunder moments don't often pay off well here at Daytona anymore.
No, they really don't, do they? So big calamity here, working lap 13, now on lap 14. Wait for pit road to open. We'll see who all comes down. There's the first bump, and I thought they had it saved. I thought for sure that LSU truck was good to go, but watch on back. They just kind of get all squirrely. They get nervous. They get loose, and it just breaks loose.
You see something like that happen in front of you in your mid-pack here at Daytona Talladega. You check up because you expect the big one to just unfold in front of you at any given instant. And, you check up. The guy behind you has no idea what's going on. And then y'all lock bumpers, and next thing you know, you're around because you've taken all the load off of the back end of that truck, and they get that front bumper to you, and it just lifts the back end up. And then we end up with big calamities like this. It's just the nature of the beast when we come to these plate tracks.
Yep, nature of the beast, Diva. What is also the nature of the beast right now, this caution pretty well timed, Sheldon. Right now, live pit stops are happening. Everybody down pit road. Full sail pit stops from the front to the back of the field. So even if you weren't involved in a wreck, you need gas. Remember, 65% fuel tanks was the story. So everyone down pit road here.
Also, don't be surprised to see a couple guys, up at the front, duck in here on the second lap of caution, too. Give up the track position, but have that extra little spurt of fuel in the tank that gives them so many more opportunities when we come to a green flag stop to decide their own fate. Also, we'll be going green here just outside of the 3-wide rule, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. I was going to say, I bet once we go green, the moratorium has been lifted, so to speak, on the 3-wide racing. And so if you thought it was a little wild and a little wiggly and a little crazy before, I think it's about to pick up here. So let's take a look. We got Michael Gudger up front, according to timing and scoring. There's the 64, that LSU Tiger striped machine. He's right behind the pace car. Then it's going to be Bryce Hinton, Zane Bailey, Jim Duda, and Aaron Raymond in your top 5. And so see all the manufacturers across the screen. Sheldon, and this is sort of abnormality. We don't talk a lot about manufacturers in iRacing because, within the world of iRacing, they're all basically identical minus the looks of the body. That is a lot of Toyotas compared to what we see in a normal iRacing session.
Yeah, it might be a little bit of sauce with the Toyota nose.
Something.
Because if you look at it, up close, it looks a little bit more flat in the center. We have the same thing with the B car and the Cup car when it comes to the plate tracks with the Mustangs just being the way to go. And would not surprise me if there was something a little special in the front end of that Tundra that just makes it easier to line up and give a push.
The lights on the pace car are out. These trucks will double file, and we're going to get green here at the beginning of lap 17. That's what we were told in our ears pre-race, where we thought that race control would open up the 3-wide racing was lap 17. So on this green flag, that should become a reality. So let's set the stage for you here. We have 30 plus trucks on the grid. We have 29 still in the lead lap. We are not going green. They have waved off this restart here. So I think this is Thomas Lane. And I think with this big a grid, I think there's some problem getting people lined up here, Sheldon.
It's definitely going to be interesting here once we go green, but some guys just haven't let a couple cars go by here, I imagine. It's probably the cause of that.
So that was under pacing, by the way. Remember we talked about 3-wide being crazy under green? That was under pacing a second ago. We had a little rubbing of paint 3 wide under caution. So we're going to go one more time here. So Sheldon, we had a pretty calm, chill, let's say first 12 and a half, 13 laps with the 3 wide ban being lifted. Do you think it's the same, or are we in for a bit of a madhouse here?
I think the madhouse has definitely opened up here. Give these guys the opportunity to go 3 wide, and people are going to take it. I mean, you want to get up to the front. You want to lead as many laps as you can here at Daytona, because if you're mired in the midsection of the pack, you just don't have the opportunities. And it's all about track position, especially when it comes down to these pit stops. You can really control your own destiny. We see just heavy hits there on that last caution.
Yeah, if you're just tuning in, that's the source of the only caution so far, as we're here under yellow here in the Sim Racing Association Superspeedway Blitz Series. Here live on Green Flag TV. Happy you're along with us for the ride. Pace car this time, lights should go out again, hopefully this time, and we'll prep for the 1 to green yet again. So it's Michael Gudger up there, Bryce Hinton, Zane Bailey, Jim Duda, and more at the front of this field. Remember, some new names here, Sheldon. The league uses this series as a recruitment tool. So we not only see our normal names like Gudger and Bailey and Duda and Witt, but you see a bunch of new names who are kind of, I guess, trying out the league for the first time.
Absolutely. Also, one thing that got lost there with us, with the big wreck and everything, is how impressive of a save that was up there at the front of the pack. Zane Bailey and Michael Gudger, you know, the two of them should have absolutely wrecked there.
Yep.
Same with Bryce Hinton. And all 3 of those trucks just pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree with that. We could probably do that sequence, 100 more times? And I doubt, with all due respect to these drivers, that's your 1 in 100, right? That's your one save. That's your 1 in a million shot right there to save. That's why I yelled how when it first happened, because I thought for sure Gudger on back was in trouble, but somehow that saved itself and worked its way on through. But here we are now in turns 3 and 4 under caution. Lights in the pace car still out, and being told right now what's going to happen per race control, Sheldon, is we need to go 1 lap under green before the 3 wide moratorium is lifted. So this first lap needs to be 2 wide. When we come back to the start finish line again, all bets are off.
Yeah, that's a very fair rule too. Just get a lap around here, get your momentum built up, set up for a run coming to the stripe. But it'll, you know, save us from having those crazy stack ups and just wrecks that you get on restarts here at the super speedways, as we see the leader kind of disappear there for a second.
Went 13 laps the first time. How far the second time? Let's find out. Barney the Flagman drops the green flag, and we're back live racing at Daytona. A big jump up front right now by Bryce Hinton. Not an illegal jump, just a nice start. Actually got a little bit of a gap on Gudger. Now he's going to back up to the trucks behind him. But look at that humongous gap right there, Sheldon. What happened there? How do you have that big of a gap on a restart?
Oh, Zane Bailey did an incredible job putting the pressure to the back of the 64 machine of Gudger. Just pretty much slammed him all the way through the restart zone into turn 1. Built an impressive gap. You know, you mentioned the jump they had up on the outside lane with Hinton. That's the problem, though. Got that jump on the outside and pulled himself away from, you know, the supporting trucks. Didn't have the push coming into 1 and 2 and loses all that momentum because of it. And it kind of is going to stall at the top lane for the first lap or so here.
He was up front to begin the last lap. He'll be about 4 trucks deep when we cross the line again. Here we are. We're now working lap number 19. And remember that now we can go 3 wide. That temporary ban has been lifted. We're not sure when it's going to happen. Oh, wrecking big truck sideways up on its side. Cautions out yet again at Daytona. Wow. Saw a cup car in real life a couple weeks ago, but that truck right there was up on its door, right in the top lane of Daytona. That was John Bawalda Jr. in the 5, and that was a wild ride.
Let's hope that's not a prediction for how things will work out for Larson tomorrow at Phoenix.
Let's hope it's not a prediction for the rest of tonight.
Yeah, that too.
Well, caution yet again here at Daytona. Let's take a look and see what happened and why. We saw this 5 car. Did you get a bad bump. He just sort of all of a sudden ended up kind of going backwards up the track, I thought is what I saw. Let's watch it again here. Watch that truck right there. He's going to get a bump from the inside, that black and yellow truck, and up the hill he goes. He's going to get hit from the 25, and up he goes. And, well, you asked about these pre-race.
It looks like we got him. Because that would be one crazy weight transfer flip if it wasn't.
Oh,
yeah, the four
it's
machine.
A long ride down. Oh.
The most important thing is, though, yeah, he stuck the landing. You know, it's devastating when you get stuck on your roof here. You have to wait for somebody to slam into you to get back on all four.
Watch it in real time. This truck on the bottom, the 4 truck, who is going to be just a slight bump. The 4 truck a little high. That was Cody Witts. Oh.
That right there is one of those moments in a official session that would end in tears.
All right, well, we're going to work the caution yet again. And you mentioned this idea of fuel. So what I was kind of wondering in my head, Sheldon, is you may not be able to convince, say, a Michael Gudger, a Zane Bailey from the front of the field to pit. But if you were somewhere, let's say, what, P15, P20 on back, you're a Dan Atkins back in 20, a Paul Witt back in 21, I would be tempted to come in here and top off this fuel with these smaller fuel tanks. And here come some people, I think.
Yeah, if I'm 5th on back at this point in the race, I'm coming down and just jamming some fuel in it just to set myself up with the opportunity, as we see the field being led down right now by the machine of Bryce Hinton.
That was
I figured we'd have more.
I'm surprised how late it was. I mean, I wasn't sure it'd be that many trucks, but Hinton waited till the last possible second, it felt like, to make that call, to at least make the indication he was pitting. I think he had it in his mind what he was going to do. I think he just kind of didn't want to telegraph it.
I think he's just trying to be the contrarian. Whatever the leader's doing, I'm not going to do it.
Could be, watch this. This will be from Bryce Hinton. So we're going, I mean, right there, that's the paint right there. That's the commitment cone. That's about as late as you could do it. Well, lights on the pace car are still on. Let's do this. Let me see if I could find a driver. Let's see if we can find Michael Gudger in our team Discord here. Where is he? Let's grab him. He's down here at Ford Racing. Let's do this. Let's do a live interview. Let's have a little bit of fun here. We're just going to do this live in a moment. We're going to welcome in the driver currently leading in the LSU stripes of Michael Gudger. Michael, you're leading at Daytona. We're about 20 laps in, about, let's say, a fourth of the way through the race, roughly. How's it feeling out there?
It is very interesting out here. The truck's pretty squirrely, under pushing, but we've got this first row locked down, and hopefully we can keep it locked down for the rest of this race. So
the first caution, it kind of starts with a bump from you behind. It kind of makes people nervous, but walk me through your perception of what happened. How surprised were you saved the truck?
I mean, to me, it just felt like a bit of a bad bump. I can't believe that wasn't the big one there. I guess we just got a good hit there onto the outside lane, and unfortunately it was just an even side hit and not a quarter panel hit. We were able to keep it straight, but I guess the checkup behind this is what caused the wreck. But glad to make it through that one and keep that fast repair.
All right, buddy. Well, still a long race to go. I'm assuming the plan is to stay out front, lead the rest of it?
You bet. Better to be in front of the wrecks and not have to avoid them.
Fair enough. Well, listen, we'll let you get back there and focus on the LSU truck. Good luck, and we'll talk to you later.
Alrighty, thank you.
All right, that is Michael Gudger, part of Ford Racing. Sheldon, he says he almost barely felt anything. He seemed more surprised by the bump, and I bet when he sees the broadcast later, he'll realize how bad it was.
Well, it's so light. Like it takes next to nothing to really offset these trucks here, these super speedways. Just the slightest tap at these speeds is enough to throw you completely out of cycle. But one thing I was noticing there while we were interviewing him, got that onboard look. Look at how focused he was. I don't think Gudger blinked the entire time under caution there.
Yeah, probably not. They'll get you dry eyes at some point. But for now, I think he's good. We started the night with 35 plus trucks. And right now, at least 30 of them are still on track. 29 still on the lead lap. Right now, Carter Casey's back in P30, 2 laps down. But other than that, 29 trucks still in the lead lap. 29 trucks still thinking they have a chance to be called a Daytona winning driver. Lights in the pace car out. We're going to begin here lap number 23. When we go green flag racing again in Sheldon. Right now, the goal has got to be to stay up front all night long and not get shuffled back with how crazy it's been back there, right?
Yeah, right now I just saw 2 massive crashes within 10 laps of each other. The goal at this point is survival. Because you know the likelihood here of the caution, precaution scenarios, we're probably going to see a handful more before we finally get all the issues out.
See if it can start right now. We're about to go green. Pace cars down once again. The green flag waves, and we're back to racing at Daytona. Gudger leads the bottom line. Zane Bailey leads the top line. And again, a little bit more gap on the top lane, Sheldon. Not as bad as last time, but that top lane seems to know maybe the bottom lane's disconnected this time.
Yeah, 3rd truck in line there, the 4 machine of Cody Witt falls off the back bumper of the machine in front of him, Jim Duda. Outside line getting a good surge here through 1 and 2, but they kind of come disconnected on the exit of turn 2. Not going to hurt any, though. They're going to be neck and neck in the 20 machine. And Zane Bailey up top is going to have the advantage at 3.
Down into turn number 3. Rumor has it John Bawalda may have to pit a couple laps. Black flag, that 5 truck. That's in the back of the field, so hopefully that doesn't cause any kind of problems back there. But up front here, the drag race out of turn 4. It is Gudger, it is Bailey. And at the line, it's going to be Gudger. He'll lead yet another lap here. And oh, he's getting a little high there. And I thought for a second, Sheldon, that truck on back, which would have maybe been David Overstreet, was going to try to make it 3 wide.
Right now, everybody lined in right now. 2 lanes formed at Daytona. The 20 machine trying to make something happen on the outside line with help from the 48 of Overstreet. Not going to work, though. They come disconnected out of turn 2. Huge surge to the bottom lane. Jim Duda doing a great job pushing Michael Gudger out there to the point.
Big surge up front. Maybe one of the bigger surges we've seen under green flag so far, because right now it is 2 trucks clear back to Zane Bailey. Bailey's going to try to make up the run here on the front straight so you can get back evened up. And that's just how good these trucks are in the draft here, Sheldon. Sometimes in these different NASCAR vehicles, maybe hold on, big wreck in the back. 1 truck around, 2 trucks around. I think, all things considered, we're going to be okay.
The 24 machine as well as the 91 of Carter Casey.
Carter Casey, when it rains, it pours, right? Carter Casey, remember, is already 2 laps down. There's Joshua Burke involved in the 24 truck. So looks like, by the way, at the time of caution, Zane Bailey was your leader.
And Bailey was doing a good job up there on that outside line and just got the push when it mattered most.
Watching the back of the field. Let's watch what's going to happen here. Right on the bottom lane, I think, is where it's going to come from. You see some checkups happening. There's the 24. Yep, just like almost like an accordion checkup, wasn't it? The 24 got turned around. Got his
Look at that.
3 wheels
all 4
off the
tires.
Ground. Yeah, maybe
that's
4.
all 4.
And you're right. You're right. From that angle, I can see, yeah, you're right, all 4. And then I think there's going to be a second truck that's going to get in contact here in a second. That would have been Carter Casey.
Looks like that 19 truck, maybe. The Bass Pro truck just comes down the track and hooks him in the right rear. Just thought he was clear. Had a hole to get into the bottom and wasn't quite. And just that slight tap on the right rear quarter panel is enough to shoot that truck right up in the air. And Casey, honestly, did a great job. You know, big spin, but didn't look like he hit anything.
Yeah, again, the 24 just got caught up in the bad checkups, and I think maybe that truck behind just didn't know the impact of it, right? Just did not know how bad the checkup was. So, hey, I can push him, and then there's that whole pushing. There's a good look. That's a correct call by you. That's 4 tires off the ground, and
with the shadows. Good. When the shadows disappear underneath the truck, that's when you know you're in trouble.
Yeah. All things considered, pretty. I mean, he got it off the ground and back on pretty easily. All right, well, Zane Bailey is your leader here. Going to work us on around under caution, I believe, for the 3rd time tonight. Sheldon, this is the fear of a lot of drivers at Daytona, I think, right? Is this whole kind of caution fest and what happens? So pit roads are open. Do we get more gas stops here? I think we do. The leader's down to Zane Bailey, and a lot of drivers down pit road to put more gas in this car.
Absolutely. I mean, we're getting to that point. You know, we keep having cautions like this. There is a possibility that you could save enough fuel and, you know, cut one of these pit stops out. But you need to have a full tank going into it at the same time. You see a clean entry to the box for Zane Bailey. Same thing for Bryce Hinton as, oh, sorry, the 64 machine of, wait a moment while I get used to our names here. Michael Gudger.
See, everyone's kind of down pit road. Pretty short stops, all things considered. You can imagine gas only for most drivers. Daytona's a track, at least within iRacing, Sheldon, where it just, the tires matter, but just a little bit, right? I mean, there's drivers who run a full race almost sometimes at Daytona on a set of tires. They just don't seem to really have the impact they do at other tracks.
Yeah, also, trouble on pit road for the 22 machine of Joshua Jernigan. Overshot the box pretty significantly. Had to get the truck back in place. Don't lose a lot of ground on pit road with that mistake.
A lot of ground loss for him. It's unfortunate for Joshua in that pink machine with the purple numbers. See if he can ride on around. And wow, lots have happened so far in the first 27 laps. About a third of the way through this race. Happy you're with us here on Green Flag TV. You know what? If you're having fun watching all the racing action, you should stay tuned all week long here on the channel. I believe we're up to 6 nights a week of action. We'll see if we can get a schedule popped up on the screen soon and show it to you. But it's pretty impressive, all the racing and all the broadcasting we're doing. Look at this. So tomorrow night, the Blazing Pedals League has their penultimate playoff race at the Auto Club Speedway. Monday night, round 2, the High Tide Racing League. Nolan Rimple and Justin Prince will be there. I'll be back with Marty Tuesday night for the Mid-Atlantic Racing Series at the Charlotte Roval. That'll be fun. Meanwhile, Nolan Rimple and others over at the OMSRO at Auto Club. Wednesday night, the Premier Sim Racing continues their round of 8 playoff system at the Michigan International Speedway. And then the Beer League, that's a fun league, Sheldon. They do not announce the track to their drivers until the day of. We know it's a NASCAR truck vehicle this week. They will find out the track about 5 hours pre-race. And then next week, the Speed Cup Series is at Homestead. So please do subscribe to the channel if you like what you're watching. And it is a busy week. Over 40 broadcasts in the month of November alone. Sheldon, how would you feel about racing in the league where you found out the track about 5 hours before Green Flag?
Yeah, I've got anxiety problems already. It would probably kill me.
Yeah,
but covering it though, a different story because you love chaos up here in the booth.
They're even changing vehicles week. I think last week they ran the Formula V's, and that was at a road course. So, yeah, it's a fun league. Some weird rules in there, but a fun broadcast with Nolan Rimple and Finicini every Wednesday night. Well, we got a new leader up front. Bryce Hinton will lead us to the Green Flag. We'll have Charles Fletcher on the outside, and Stephen Luttrell, Michael Gudger's back and forth, and Zane Bailey is in P5. And that's a result, Sheldon, because Hinton, Fletcher, and Luttrell did not pit.
Yeah, some different guys trying their hand up here at the front, but I mean, no surprise seeing that machine of Bryce Hinton back up here. You know, we saw a lot of pace in that first stint before the caution for the JBL speakers truck. So I would not be surprised. You know, he looks like he knows what he's doing here tonight. I feel like it's cream rising to the top, even though it is through strategy for the 28.
Well, let's see what happens. Let's see if that JBL speaker sponsored machine can make some noise up front, or if he kind of gets muted back through the field. Happy with us here on Green Flag TV. Derek Watson, Sheldon Atkins. I have a pun or two in me. You'll find them throughout the broadcast. I can make a bad joke every now and then.
I'm a dad. It's what I do best.
There you go. Well, here we are. Yet again, Green Flag is going to come out, and we'll watch as Bryce Hinton leads us back to green. Look at that very quickly. That driver, back in Fletcher, I believe, got down to the bottom lane.
Yeah, Hinton got a really good jump on the restart. I wonder if him and Fletcher might have talked that out.
Yeah, that looked synchronized, didn't it?
Yeah, it looked. I spent a lot of time on teams here on iRacing, and that looked like something that we do very frequently.
Well,
we saw at the top line.
Wow, look at the scattering back there. Remember that calm, cool race back in lap 2? Looks a little different back there. A big disconnect on top. Everyone almost got to the bottom. But up front, here comes a new driver up front. Trying to, well, at least a returning driver up front. And Michael Gudger, he's being pushed by Jim Duda, and he wants his lead back.
Yeah, Michael Gudger opted to go to the back of the field to take 4 tires, or sorry, not 4 tires, but just take a load of fuel in the back of the 64 machine. And already carving his way through the traffic to get up here to the front, taking the lead through the tri-oval. Is he going to be able to clear into turn 1?
Looks like I think he may have led at the line. We'll wait for confirmation of that, but he is trying his best and getting shoved by Jim Duda through the corner here at Daytona. And that's a controversial topic, right? Bumping in the corner. We could probably pull, what, say 50 drivers and get 25 yeses and 25 nos?
The way I've always talked about it is if we're going for the lead and you think you know what you're doing, well enough to do it, just don't kill me, get me through the corner and give us the run. But right now you see the temps that's the temps for Duda. He's starting to overheat there, had to tuck the nose out. Now here comes Hinton back up to the top to cover.
Yeah, Hinton thought maybe that there was too big of a run happening in front of LSU truck, and he went up top of Michael Gudger. That now leaves a new truck on the bottom. That's Charles Fletcher. He led his first lap.
Also, what that does, though, that's going to save the top line, you know, with the machine of Jim Duda struggling with the temperatures. Had to fall back. That outside line was about to be swallowed back up by the pack. Now that you've got Hinton working the top line now, it allows Gudger to do a little bit of the pushing. And
so
take some of the load off of that machine.
Gudger, though.
As fast as Gudger's been, though, I would not be surprised if you see him push Hinton clear back to the lead, Hinton jump back down to the bottom, and this outside line get back to work like they were doing. Right now, the inside line doing a great job as Fletcher holding his own on the bottom with a lot of help from behind. Is that Luttrell?
I think that is Stephen Luttrell on the bottom, and then you got, I believe that is Zane Bailey in the iconic blue truck on back. So you see, there's a lane change again. He is making some noise. I thought he would. And Bryce Hinton's now trying to pull the old Dale Jr. He wants to lead both lanes. He wants to control the lanes. And for right now, he's stuck because there goes your Michael Gudger back up top and now leading this race.
So this is how old I've gotten. I was watching this race with some of the buddies I raced with, and you know, I refer to that as the junior strategy.
Yep.
I got told it was the Logano strategy.
Oh no, it's not.
Yeah, that's how old I'm getting, man.
Yeah, that's a Dale Jr. move. Mid classic 2000s NASCAR, leading both lanes, playing the old Pied Piper we used to call it. And he's been leading both lanes, but right now here we come around the line again, and it's gonna still be Bryce Hinton leading. Look on back through the field here. Now, what's in my mind if I was a driver in this moment, Sheldon? We're lap 33. We're a little bit more than a third of the way through this race. There can't be that many faster pairs left. See all those drivers hanging back there in the field about, what, you say about 20 some on back, maybe 29th on back. Those guys might just be kind of hanging on to the end, hoping they can avoid something, because there can't be that many faster pairs left in this field.
Well, the one thing that I've always found when I go for the strategy to hang out in the back of these super speedways and just, you know, let the wrecks happen, I end up finding myself torn up more often than I would be if I went to the front and tried to lead every lap. So it's definitely a risk versus reward strategy, and I hope it works out. But, you know, I always feel like when you get that big wreck in front of you, you end up with the guy behind you. You can't even see the wreck coming. Next thing you know, you get piled into it just trying to avoid it.
Well, I'll tell you, my thought is if we can go back, let's say back to P27 for Noah Swafford area, my personal opinion, those guys aren't hanging back enough. If that is the goal, Sheldon, you need to almost be disconnected from the draft so that you have time to react if or when the next wreck happens. Those guys maybe right behind in the 17, maybe they're a couple of trucks behind. Those are doing it correctly, I think, because these rest of these guys aren't really hanging back. As you said, they have no reaction time if a wreck happens here.
Yeah, no, you're pretty much log jammed into it, and if you got somebody behind you, odds are they're not going to be able to see it in time to check up like you will. But also, I give a shout out to that 17 machine, Noah Swafford. I love the Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote Chevy Looney Tunes Terry Labonte throwback on that machine.
It's a nice look, isn't it? I got to be honest with you, I was kind of looking upside down and trying to figure it out. I just saw the big red K on the hood upside down. I thought we were looking like an old. I was just reading Kellogg's, which there is, and I didn't even recognize the rest of it, honestly. That is a nice Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner scheme. I think we're showing our age again, by the way, with Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote.
I got to see that car live in real life at Richmond when they ran that race back in '02.
No.
Yeah.
Lots of kids today. Go look up the Roadrunner. It's a good cartoon. It's a classic cartoon. Well, right now, Swafford is doing a pretty good job. He's kind of hanging him back about 1 second back in the truck. Sheldon's kind of where you are to fall completely off of the draft. He's just barely hanging on. It does feel like he's just trying to kind of lay back and wait and see what happens here.
One guy that I'm kind of nervous for right now led a bunch of laps at the start of this thing. I'm kind of stressed out if I'm Will McKellar in that 13 machine. You know, he was up at the front leading laps. Now he's kind of right in the middle of the hornet's nest as you see a lot of indecision. The 19 machine of James Yerger just about sent himself off the nose of 13, trying to come down and cover the bottom lane. As, a little bit of contact up the hill there. That was almost bad.
These top trucks, I mean, it's getting a lot of movements. This is a lot of shaking back and forth. You saw that 10 truck at Duda moving back and forth up top, and it was kind of wiggling back and forth, and that's what's going to create an awful moment somewhere. When you start shaking back and forth, because the key to bump drafting is doing it flat, doing it even, doing it right in the back of the bumper. You start hitting someone and bumping them when they're moving, it's just you're going to swipe them right or swipe them left. And unlike, Tinder or other dating apps, both those options are really bad.
Well, I don't know. I found on Tinder both options can be pretty bad, too, if you think about it for too long.
Oh, fair enough. Well,
and we almost had a wreck at the mid section of the pack, too, while we were talking about Tinder as well. These guys are getting pretty hungry, and there's more of that issue that we were talking about earlier with the force feedback steering ratio, and there we go, a little bit of contact there. Lieben Van Leer gets into the side of the 4 machine of Cody Witt, and about a lap ago it was the other way around because Cody Witt slid up the hill almost into somebody.
Let's look at this. I'm really impressed. A big field here at Daytona. It's an open lobby. We're doing it as a recruitment race for the SRA, and I'm pretty impressed. We had a couple early cautions. I knock on wood. I probably jinxed it. Commentators curse. All the other stuff just happened. But we're riding pretty well here. 2 wide. A third, a little bit more than that now through the race, and people are kind of being patient. I'm really surprised and happily surprised with the field right now.
Right now, the way I said, it's just a $13.99 a month game of drafty card. We're watching up here on the field. And these guys doing a great job. We've had a couple sketchy moments here on this run, but everybody's done a good job, keeping it together for the most part. A little bit of contact here and there, but nothing egregious, nothing, too much for anybody to save. But it is definitely a handful. You can see how sketchy these trucks are. I mean, we heard from Gudger that these things are a handful tonight, and we can definitely see it.
And that's surprising to me, by the way. It may just be the setup that's being run tonight is what's causing a little bit of that squirreliness, but and it's the fixed setup as far as I can tell. There's no custom setup here involved, but remember we looked at the conditions earlier. Cool track, no wind. I'm surprised they're a handful.
Contact up in the front.
Hold on, come back to that as we're kind of swirling around. We saw a car to the bottom under the yellow line. He's going to merge back up safely, and we're going to stay green here at the beginning of lap 40.
Problem that you're seeing right now with these trucks, jockeying all over the track here, it's with the Cup car, you don't have that problem as bad because there's not as much drag that comes off of it compared to these trucks. Go run behind a semi. You're going to feel it through the steering wheel. You see right there, up the hill, coming out of turn 4. It's a combination of that.
Nervous.
Oh, that was so close.
It's very possible, too, and, I know we've committed this field for staying too wide and running along, but the truth is here, Sheldon, that when you get these long lines of too wide, and we saw this last Monday night in the High Tide Racing League at Daytona, these long lines can create some pretty wild checkups at some point, right? That's what happens, the nature of the beast of the draft line. And sometimes these long lines create bad checkups that really just, hold on, dude, down to the bottom. And that was close. That was wild. That was confidence that he could get in there.
Yeah, that was, I hope he's got somebody in the box to call that one, because that was about as close as it gets. You couldn't fit a credit card between those two trucks.
No. That was confidence. That Must have been using his mirrors, his spotter, a little bit of hope and prayer, I would think. That was close. But Dudon now is marred back in 4th in line on the bottom behind Zane Bailey, and is now kind of riding along here. And there's a move to the bottom. These guys are snapping those moves. And in one way, Sheldon, that is the correct way to do it. You want to snap those cars when you're Bryce Hinton and make a decision. You can't lollygag your lane change, but the harder these moves snap, you may snap a little too far one of these times.
You go for those lazy blocks, those lazy moves, you lose the opportunity before you actually get to take advantage of the opportunity. Then you put yourself in a massive hole because you get cycled out of the draft. And next thing you know, the move that could have gotten you to 3rd place or gotten you to the lead is the move that takes you to 32nd. And it's just misery to climb out of that, especially with this current package that we have here.
Yeah, that said, you get stuck in the sucker hole and you go to the back of the field. But right now, I mean, Bryce Hinton, that last move was just a sudden snap up in front of the field, and the confidence it took, I commend him for. Hinton leads us around yet again, working lap 43 here at Daytona, almost halfway through this race. Happy along with us here on Green Flag TV. Most trucks pitted, by the way, back on lap 27. See a couple trucks out of line on the bottom. So that means that we're currently working not too far from Green Flag pit stops.
And you can see it right now. The trucks up here at the front. Bryce Hinton leading a long daisy chain of single file here in this top 10. These guys up at the front, they don't want to race it right now. They know they're getting close to that fuel window. They're working, navigating, trying to make deals on who they're going to come in and pit with, because it is getting to be time, and you don't want to be left out to dry when everybody else dives down pit road, because that's how you lose time to this pack, is if you get out of that draft coming off pits.
Now, within the Sim Racing Association, they have teams within the Discord. They all sit in those calls and work together. So Thomas Lane Jr., I believe, is going to take the call. He has to pit this time. So that makes me think pit stops are a-coming. We'll wait and see this time who comes by and who doesn't as we work our way around through turns 3 and 4.
Most important thing, too, that you're going to want to focus on here is you do not want to make mistakes coming into pit road. You don't want to give it too much brake, lock up the back tires. You don't want to slide speed, and you definitely don't want to miss your box. As we see the 16 machine send it deep into pit road.
Boy, the last listing here don't want to come alone. Which I think even a 2-truck tandem right there might be a lot to ask for. Now remember, there were 3 drivers, and they're up front. Bryce Hinton, Charles Fletcher, and Stephen Luttrell. They did not pit under the last yellow. Now, you could argue the 6-lap difference is mostly caution laps, but don't be surprised if those up front might need to pit a little sooner, because they did not pit under the last caution.
Absolutely. I mean, they're definitely pushing the window, especially just leading the line makes it a little more difficult. Like I was talking earlier, that extra drag over the trucks. We see a handful of trucks dive down pit road here. A handful of your leaders.
The 3 names we just mentioned, I believe, is all Hinton, Luttrell, Fletcher.
Oh, one truck around.
Gonna get saved at that is Dan Adkins.
No relation.
If he won the race, would you have claimed differently?
No. Oh, one truck hard into the wall here. David Overstreet. And stuff back in again. And a couple trucks around the back straightaway. Big spin.
Wow, this is going to create a little bit of chaos. I think those trucks who just pitted just made out, because they are not going to get lapped. And they're going to get back to the front of the field, and everyone else pits in the yellow.
Definitely on the track. It's going to work out in their favor. Which, honestly, I think it works out better for them in this situation than it would have otherwise, because, 2-truck tango is not going to get the job done here.
Well, let's watch the replay. I think the 22 truck may be involved in this somewhere, because he is upset in the driver's radio. But let's watch and see what's going to happen and where it all starts here. Going to come out through the corner. Up front, there was already a truck in the wall. You called that live as it happened. And did people kind of just panic? Oh, there's a second hit. And he pounds that wall really hard. So where's the next part of the wreck?
There it is, right there.
There it is up top.
31 got tagged by that orange and blue truck around the fence.
Why is it? I don't know.
Yeah, the 31 got tagged coming out of turn 2 there.
Yeah.
By that Irwin Tools pickup.
Certainly did. Watch it again. To watch in the back of the field here. That truck right there up top is just going to come down, not clear. He'll tag the truck below him. They'll both go opposite ways, and it just breaks loose at that point.
I think he was trying to avoid the 19 truck in front of him. Is what set up that maneuver, because he was coming down trying to tuck back in.
Well, let's watch it on board and see what's going to happen. Let's see what happens from Jim Bayard here. It's that truck up ahead, a little bit of checkup. He's just going to get on for the ride. That's the 888.
He is.
Good job to him. He saved that truck. A wild ride, but nowhere near the wall.
Thank God for him, no grass.
There's a topic.
Yeah.
Ooh, buddy.
I think he's the first person since they made the change to the track here to actually say, "Hey, man, there's no grass. This is pretty cool. I like it."
Yeah. Maybe the only person. Well, pit stop's happening yet again. It's going to be Maurice, Chameleon, and others leading us down pit road here. We'll see when these pit stops happen. Remember, we think those 3 drivers who's already pitted should be good, along with a couple others. Wait and see how this cycles out. Bailey's down, Gudger's down, and every other truck basically in this race on pit road.
Like I say, there's a soft spot in my heart there for that paint scheme on Maurice's Chevrolet.
Race off pit road has happened. Go ahead.
So there's a GM Goodwrench. Kevin Harvick themed paint schemes have always been something I'm pretty fond of.
Pretty awesome paint scheme. But let's do this. We're going to step aside here on Green Flag TV under caution. You're not going to miss a moment of green flag racing. When we come back, we'll reset the field and we'll go green at Daytona.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Rev TV brings the world of motorsports into your home with over 100 live race series such as MotoGP, IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, Extreme E, World Superbike, and the newly launched all-electric E1 series. From 2 wheels to 4, from land to sea, your destination is Rev TV.
Lots of sports action happening live in the moment. Not only the SRAs here at Daytona, there's this little thing called the World Series happening. There's an Xfinity Series fall finale race happening to claim a champion. But we're glad you chose us here on Green Flag TV to hang out with Derek Watson, Sheldon Atkins, and Nolan Rimple pushing the buttons. Nolan Rimple and Lucas Mitty, your normal broadcasting, will back next week. Sheldon, Lucas is out this week. He's off at a Halloween party weekend event. If I told you he dressed up as a League of Legends character, do you know what that? Could you name one if I showed you the picture?
The only one that I ever play as is Misfortune, just because the spray and pray, man. Like,
you pray. Oh, you play. Good enough. He showed me a picture earlier. No idea who he was. I'm sure it was a great costume. I'm happy for him.
Look, as long as it wasn't Overwatch, you should be all right.
It was League of Legends. I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Legends. I got that part. But all right. Well, here's some news. After the first set of what's being deemed green flag pit stops, because the leaders did get to pit before the yellow came out, Race Control has officially lifted any remaining moratorium on 3-wide racing. When we go green flag racing here, Race Control said, hey, do it at your own at your own discretion. Just be aware of what you're doing. So, that said, it's time for the pace car to pull down. It's time for Barney the Flagman to get the flag in his hand, and it's just about time to go back to green flag racing with TJ Wash up in front at Daytona. Well, he was in front, Sheldon, and very quickly Bryce Hinton took the lead here, but that's too big a gap.
Yeah, Hinton's about to end up in a world of trouble if he doesn't get down and cover this bottom lane here in 1 and 2, which you see him doing, but that sets up an opportunity for the 16 machine to get a huge run to the back bumper, but he's going to stay in line, but tucking out to the top line. The 36 machine going to try and make something happen, and here comes 28 back up to block 3 wide down the back straightaway contact, and they're bouncing off each other, but a great save at the front of the pack.
That's that risk you talk about the old Dale Jr. move, the old Pied Piper. You try to run that thing too many times, and you'll get off center and loose, and up on the wall he goes, but it's saved. We're still green here on lap 50. He's going to fall back through the field. I think right now Bryce Hinton out of the top 10 and falling back. He may settle into P8. We'll wait and see.
I don't think the momentum's starting to fall back into the favor of the machine of Bryce Hinton. Now tucking back up to the rear bumper of the 45 machine of Maurice Gomillion. And the outside line with a huge surge here. Bottom just not formed up at all right now through 1 and 2.
Good move up top. Now Jim Duda, we've seen him up front most of the day. He's going to lead the outside lane. He's going to be the outside of TJ Washed. And that number 16 bright yellow machine on the bottom. Duda's looking around. Third lane is formed. Truck loose on the bottom. Spins back up. 3 trucks on the bottom. Everyone's on the racing line. We're going to stay green. That's not impact. Don't come up that track.
Oh, he's going to do it.
That's irresponsible. Who is that? That's the 48. That is David Overstreet. And Sheldon, let's watch it again. I'm not sure Overstreet needed to come back up the track at that speed. I think that was ill-advised, to put it nicely.
That could have been another 4 or 5 trucks taken out of the race there. See
There's
right
a
here,
first
look
incident.
at the ride Jim goes for, though.
Oh,
Just about blew it over.
so then where does the... Moving around here. There's the truck that's going to come
19.
up. That's not who causes the caution. This right here causes the caution because... So I apologize to David Overstreet. He's not the one who came up the track. He just got tagged because of the 19, I think, coming up the track.
Yeah, 19 just sent into turn 3, you know, all the way on the apron, and luckily
That's
that
James
wasn't a
Yerger,
lot.
the 19.
Luckily that wasn't bigger than it ended up being, though, because that could have been a really nasty wreck.
So here it comes back up to that one. You understand that's the truck wiggling on the 13. Nothing you can do there. And here's the 13 riding along. Then here's the other truck right here. He just got up the track and they got spooked.
I don't know. Were they just about connected before the 19 shot up the hill like that?
Maybe. I suspect that black truck got spooked by the possibility of an upcoming truck. Let's watch it one more time and see what we can find here in a moment. But I don't know. Well, let's see what's going to happen here. This is the initial incident right here. This is the 13. This part's pretty easy to find out. There's a truck coming down the 19. They make contact with the 60. All is good here. The question is what happens when they come up. So the 19 is going to come up right about here. And your thought is that these 2 trucks up top may have already been... no, they're pretty far apart
Yeah,
before
that
he
was
gets
reactionary.
through, I think.
Yeah, it was 100% reactionary for the 10. He just has, you know, the wheel cranked to the right, trying to avoid the wreck. And, you know, once you put load into the truck like that, it's not easy to get it back down.
I'll tell you what, that 48 truck, until that little bit of contact with the pink truck at the end, that guy did a 360 on the banking at Daytona and doesn't get contact. Wow. Like, that's the moment worth mentioning just as a wow moment. But watch this again here. This will be Bawalda here. I mean, that's... Yeah. Whoa. Maybe he got a little bit from Bawalda. I can't tell.
Yeah, you see a little bit of a fault on the left front. There was just a slight bit of contact there. But a great job of checking up, keeps that truck in at least one piece.
Yep. All right, well, take a second and breathe here, reset. TJ Wash is up front. He's got Jim Duda right behind him. You got Dan Adkins, Paul Witt, and Bryce Hinton on your top 5. But Dan Adkins in P3. That guy was just like sideways on pit road, like, what, 10 minutes ago? And he's in P3.
Yeah, that caution came out at the opportune time for that machine.
90
Look at paint
degrees on
scheme,
pit road.
too.
What is the paint? Yeah, it's a nice paint scheme, you're right.
I like the, you always win me over with the Dayglow colors on your numbers. It's the easiest cheat code with me.
You're a simple kind of guy, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, most of my cars have always been silver and black with Dayglow numbers and, you know, think what you call it, Jerry Nadeau's paint scheme back in the day when he drove for Hendrick. Always loved that car.
Always a fun ride back in the day. And riding along here, we're now going to begin the lap number 54, under caution. Lights in the pace car are out, so these trucks are going to double file. It'll be TJ Wash, Adkins, Hinton, Gudger, your top 4 in the bottom lane, I do believe. And then Duda, Witt, Maurice Gormillion, Zane Bailey, and others on the top lane as they're lining up here. So remember last time TJ Wash, not the best start. I'm guessing he'll look to do it a little bit better this time.
I'm just hoping that we get a nice, good, long green flag run here.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Cautions throw me off my rhythm.
Yeah, they certainly do that. They also promote the rhythm of the drivers as well. So I guess now we're going to get updates on the top of the screen. The Blue Jays have scored the first home run of Game 7 of the World Series. So hopefully you're not trying to watch that in this race or DVRing it, because our producer Nolan Rimple is a hardcore Blue Jays fan. And I'm surprised I haven't heard my ears yet. I'm surprised I haven't heard the oohs and the ahs and oohs of the balls and the strikes so far in the game. So I'm grateful for that, but I was a little nervous, Sheldon, how this broadcast was going to go.
Hey, see, that's my biggest problem, though. Race season ends, I've got nothing to watch.
Wow.
It's motorsports for me, man. I've tried with a stick and ball, and it's never worked.
Well, there's plenty of racing still available on iRacing and around the world. You'll find some cool endurance events upcoming, so I'm sure you'll find something to watch. Some old races on different services and some great moments. But right now, I want to watch TJ Wash. I want to see him get a better start than he did last time, and hopefully not get this passed by the outside lane.
You're now bottom lane stacked up pretty well here. Good opportunity for him.
Green flag is back out of Daytona. We're green yet again.
Oh, contact.
Contact instantly. Jim Duda made contact on the bottom. He wiggled up top as well. Now there's a third lane, and Duda, well, who's the lane followed? They followed Duda on the outside? I think they did, and then they did back in lane.
That could have been really bad. I wouldn't say wheel spin. I think he just got too close to the door, got the push from behind on the initial of the restart, and it just shot him down into the inside lane. A great job for these drivers to keep them straight as the inside line being pulled by TJ Wash. The outside line, though, being led by Duda, starting to pick up the momentum here on the backstretch.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, with a driver who's won some races in this league like Jim Duda, if I would have had the chance right there, Sheldon, if I'm the 429 other drivers, I would have probably seen if I could have stuck him to the outside and moved him back. Jim Duda is an accomplished driver in SRA and someone who can easily pull off this win.
Well, he's looking pretty stout up here at the front right now. As you see him lead that lap across the line with a huge helping hand from the 429 machine right behind him. That's Paul Witt, and Paul Witt's been somebody that we've seen kind of all over the place this evening as far as misfortunes go.
There's another truck up top now. That's the 6th truck. He's now going to get a bit of help, and they may try and form a third line here. We're now on lap 56, and finally, 3 wide racing is live in the moment.
Hey, what? This is where the nerves.
For now.
This is where the nerves start to ramp up. Starting to get pretty close here. 35 laps left tonight, as we are 3 wide, a couple rows deep here.
That's Aaron Raymond in the 6. He's leading that charge up top. That's Ted Reichert in the 27. He's pushing along. I'm surprised to see that maybe Duda or Witt hasn't tried to move up with him and make that line stronger. But look at the gap back behind Witt. There's at least 2 full trucks. You can see it. There's some of the visuals there. Behind that middle lane is breaking apart.
The 6 machine will get a real big helping hand here from the 27 down the back straightaway. Aaron Raymond flying, making that 3rd lane look good. You know, I didn't think the 3rd lane would be useful here tonight, because iRacing has a tendency of deleting the 3rd lane somehow from the files, but it doesn't look to be the case. You know, only 3 trucks up there, and they're making some pretty bold moves. I think if you get about 2 or 3 more trucks on that outside line, it's really going to fly.
Wait and see.
Whoa,
Boy, with just
big nervous moment for the 91.
yeah, lots of nervous moments with the, oh, hold on, door to door. That's gonna solve itself, and I think we're gonna be okay. That middle lane is drifting up, Sheldon. That middle lane is making themselves known to Aaron Raymond, Ted Reichik, and the car behind him. But I was gonna say, with some of the gaps that exist in this middle and bottom lane, if those 3 trucks up top get connected, I think they can go somewhere.
Yeah, the problem with that middle lane, though, if you're not the lead truck there right now, you're in the worst situation for everything.
Oh, yeah.
You're in the worst situation when it comes to getting air to the grill, which means you're going to be overheating like crazy. Then
There's a
you
4th
also
truck.
got absolutely no air on either corner of the truck, nothing to stabilize you. You're pretty much just getting knocked around like a ping pong ball there before anybody even gets close to touching you.
And the worst part is the situational awareness, right? Because when you're in that truck in the middle 3 wide, you'll get a spotter call saying 3 wide, but you don't really know what that means, right? Does that mean, oh, hold on, contact up top, and we're okay for the moment?
No, we're not.
Ran over. Speaking of situational awareness, that felt like a truck getting run over. And the moment, oh, there's still more in the back. Okay, I think we're worked out for now. Caution's out on lap 59. I think we're going to be good here in the moment. Boy, that wreck in the back, I mean, that felt like that could have been avoided. I don't know.
With all these bad swipes that we're seeing right now, I'd be uninstalling Tinder.
Maybe they have. Let's watch up top. It's going to be the yellow truck up top. So it's going to start with this red, white, and blue truck up top. He's going to get in the wall.
Yeah,
that is post, I'm being told. Ooh.
It just looked like a really
So
bad.
watch behind him. He's gonna get tapped, and then I mean, boy, that truck behind, I think the 60 or the 68, I couldn't get a number on it. He just came in there and just finished the job.
And that's heavy contact, and you know, I'm sure a lot of these guys getting caught up in this stuff now, probably out of fast repair, so going to have to come down and hope that the team can unload a backup car. You see the 22 machine just get tagged last second.
That 60, that might have been Lieben Van Leer, I think, in the 60. And if so, he's already disconnected and called it a night right there. And he's already turned around on track and going the wrong way. So that was Lieben Van Leer in the 60. He made contact with that yellow truck, and that's where all this calamity began. So right now, the number of trucks on track are starting to drop pretty drastically, Sheldon. If you look up and down the entries list, I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 5, 9, 11, 12, 14. There's at least, I would say, 20 trucks no longer in this race.
Yeah, and if you're one of those 20 guys, that's not the way you want to start out a season here. So you're right on board with Lieben Van Leer as he went for a wild ride there.
You see right there the caution light in the fence. Caution is out here at Daytona. Happy you're here with us along for the ride. TJ Wash, by the way, we've been so busy talking about everything happening in the third lane and all the pushes, and he did a great job leading that draft line. Everything was happening around him. He stayed calm, stayed cool, stayed collected, and he just stuck to the bottom and led all those laps.
Doing a pretty good job getting control of this thing, you know, midway through, and just putting together a strong run on the bottom lane to hang on to the lead. Be interesting to see if he can hold it, though, as we get to the closing stages here tonight.
See what happens with his pit stop here. This looks to be a long pit stop, and he must have opted to take tires, and it feels like no one else did, because he is stuck there and now moving. He is definitely no longer your leader.
So from what I'm seeing right now, because I just did a quick Google check to see what's going on with the Xfinity race, and Jesse Love is apparently leading.
So lots of action happening all around the world this evening. Up front, though, Bryce Hinton is going to be your leader, and Michael Gudger, Charles Fletcher, Aaron Raymond, Jim Duda, your top 5. I think these the trucks you're seeing on screen right now. And I believe everybody, no, actually I'm taking that back. This is weird. Hinton, Gudger, and Fletcher did not pit on this lap. They last pitted back on lap 46. I wonder if they're coming in this time, because that's 15 laps difference. That's almost a whole fuel tank of gas difference. Unless they think no one can make it on fuel and they're just going to try and play the game. That's interesting. I was trying to think of a strategy that would work, and I just don't get it, Sheldon.
What about that? A little bit of a technical difficult for me there.
That's all right. Yeah, I was just saying, these front three trucks did not pit, by the way. These guys have been out for 15 laps, and unless they're coming down this time, where I'm more confused is based on what we know of the fuel run so far. These guys are probably within, I'd say, what, 5 laps, 6 laps of being out of gas. I know you want to lead at Daytona, but that's a heck of a risk to take if this stays green.
I think what the strategy here is these guys want to come down as soon as possible because they know there's going to be another caution. They're probably going to stay out here, stretch this fuel window as far as they possibly can so they have extra in the tank, bring them closer to that, magic number to make it to the finish. Maybe cut a pit stop out of the mix. And I think they also expect that we're going to get another caution here. I mean, it's been par for the course since we started off this evening that, we get, maybe 10 laps in before something crazy happens if we're lucky.
Boy, I'll tell you what, man. I don't know if it's just because it's Daytona or if it's just that there's so many drivers tonight, or I don't know what it is. But I know you can hear as well as I can through the driver's radio. Tempers have been hot tonight. It may be cool on the track, but it is not cool inside those helmets.
Just a little bit of toss-up between, the fact that it is first race of the season, it's Daytona, you got the chaos that comes with that. And you also factor in the fact that it is an open recruitment race at the same time. That kind of just, for a driver, that kind of puts you in a rut where you're ready to think everybody sucks and you hate everybody. If you're return visitor to the series. But you also get some of those wild card guys that, they're angry about everything.
All right, well, we're going to go green this time by. It's going to be Hinton, Gudger, Raymond, Fletcher, and Witt, your top 5. Remember, these front 3 will need to come off of the track fairly soon. They're hoping for a caution. If it stays green, I suspect within, 5, maybe 7 laps. They're down pit road, needing their next tank of fuel. All right, well, let's do this and see what's going to happen. The pace car is going to come down at pit road in just a second. Bryce Hinton, who's led a bunch of laps tonight, is going to lead one more as we take the green flag at Daytona. A nice push between both lanes. Gudger's up top. He's led some laps tonight, so familiar names up top. Remember, Gudger is also in that spot where he needs to pit soon, so he would love to probably not be the one getting pushed around the track, but nope. Life is what it is. Up here now, too wide, back to the field.
That was sketchy there for a second. Raymond got to the left rear quarter panel almost on the machine of Gudger and almost hooks him around through 1 and 2, but the momentum going to fall to the favor of the outside lane. If there's one thing Hinton might want to work on is maybe those leading restarts, because he's had a little bit of trouble with that today. It's a really good jump, but he doesn't pull the rest of that line with him. Kind of wait for that second truck in line to push you before you hit the gas.
Yeah, that's one thing that's unique about Daytona, right? You don't want the big jumps. You want to kind of have the field go with you. But good news for Hinton right now. 2 trucks have pulled down. That is Gudger. Hold on, is sideways in the wall. There's some trucks on the bottom of the track. We're green for now. Cars are scattered like cockroaches, but I think we're going to be okay here. Some wiggles, some goldfish fins, and we're green at Daytona.
I don't know how that wasn't a massive pileup. That was impressive for these guys, but unfortunately for Gudger, it wasn't a massive pileup. Now he's on the outside looking in, goes from the lead. Now substantial amount of damage to the right side of the 64 truck. And he is way off pace as you see the rest of the field work their way past. I don't think he's going to be able to hold the draft with that, because you see the right front dragging the splitter slammed into the track. He's got heavy suspension damage.
Yeah, required repairs, I would imagine, for Michael Gudger. Going to come down right now. He'll put the gas in he needed. And I'm waiting to see, I'm hoping to see a replay of what happened there, because that was, wow, maybe just a bad bump, I'm guessing, the back end of Gudger, and it just sort of broke loose. Well, now up front is Paul Witt leading the 429. He's got Zane Bailey, Stephen Luttrell, and Jim Duda behind him. Let's watch this here. Let's watch the replay of what's going to happen. Is up front, there's Aaron Raymond in the 6. Out of the corner.
Raymond
off center bump.
Almost.
Nope.
Raymond almost had this incident a handful of laps ago too. I called it out, and just it's a little off center again right here in the trioval.
Yep, there it is. Oh
And
boy, Paul Witt got some
hook.
damage. Paul Witt may have gotten some damage to the front of that truck as well. By the way, sorry to cut you off, but wow, I mean, look at this. I mean, they're going to come up and down the track. They're going to wiggle around like fish out of a pond. And I'm with you. How was that not a yellow?
Everybody somehow kept these things pointing in the right direction. Problem is, though, those 3 trucks that stayed out, all 3 got tangled in that in some capacity and lost a whole bunch of ground. So the strategy not going to work out. Race now in the hands of Paul Witt and Stephen Luttrell. And Zane Bailey, honestly, if there was a pick for me tonight at this point, I feel like that 20 machine might be it, because he has been up at the front all situations. And right now, it looks like he's starting to fall into his favor with 25 to go.
Well, here's what I want to wonder and want to look at the stats on a little bit. Watch the front pack. Paul Witt definitely got tagged by those trucks that were going up and down the track. If he got a little bit of front end damage, Sheldon, he may be a little slow. He may not be the appropriate person to lead this pack. And so let's see how fast the others catch up and what the speed difference is. Last time by on the lap counts, it's about 0.4 of a second difference between the first pack and the second pack. And I'm wondering if someone figures it out and says, hey, Paul Witt, you know, this isn't the spot for you right now. Like, because that slow truck, if you have damage in the front, you can't lead because you're just off aerodynamically.
Works out for these other guys, though, too, because they don't have to push as hard to get up to his back bumper.
Watch it again, the line here. Watch the numbers on the bottom there for Charles Fletcher. Let's see what color of the app. Look at that again. Those numbers are green. That means that back lane, or that second lane, pardon me, is moving faster than the leaders. So they're going to get caught up here pretty quickly. And I'd say probably right now, they're already in drafting range and they're going to suck in pretty hard. So let's see what happens as this race goes on. There's a lap truck. That is, I believe, Michael Gudger now on the bottom. Got those, whatever he needed fixed on the truck, but he's now going to get sucked up by the field. He'll go from leading the lap to being a lap down. There's your speed comparisons on the bottom. And those are about similar, Sheldon. So, I mean, maybe it was just the draft that was helping them catch up.
Oh, yeah, 100%. You know, they had enough separation that they could build a massive run. Right now, with that slightly damaged car up at the front of the pack, it's allowing these guys riding behind to kind of save, I think, a little bit more fuel, because, you know, a damaged truck leading means slower speeds all around. And it might work out for some of these guys to possibly push a little bit closer to that pit window that they're hoping for.
Yeah, more pit stops are coming. We're not done. We're still 20-some laps to go on the boards. We think pit window is probably, what, 17, 18 laps from what we've heard from the drivers. So we're still about, I'd say, 5 laps from being good. And that's assuming that we don't have any overtime.
And that is a huge assumption, too.
Yeah, but the way this race has gone, it's a big, but look at this, what's happened here that's really weird to me. We're all on the bottom. And that means to me as a driver, that means that everyone wants to get on the bottom and ride and save fuel. You want to make those last pit stops as short as humanly possible, and then get in this draft and maybe sit at what, you think 80% throttle and just ride.
We see a couple guys going against that strategy, though, an outside line forming here. Oh, that was almost bad.
Yeah, it's getting more and more sketchy as this race goes on. There is an outside lane forming, you said. In fact, that's going to be Aaron Raymond, third in line on the top lane. So he's back out. He's involved. Now, he is up there. And yeah, he's on the lead lap. So I was quite curious to see maybe he'd had some damage, had to pit. He did not. And that top lane is now 4 or 5 cars deep.
And they're making some absolute time up there. And it feels to me like every time I look up there, man, Raymond is working that outside line in some kind of capacity. That 6 truck has been pretty much glued to that top line since we dropped the green flag 70 laps ago.
And those fast repairs, I was storing earlier, we haven't got one fast repair. And so you're seeing some names up front now that benefited from those fast repairs. That truck up top, I believe to be Jeff Gilmore in that blue and yellow truck. Remember, he was wrecked earlier in the back of the field, so he got that fast repair done and got to the front of the field. So he'll try and benefit. He's now almost up front. Oh, look up bottom. That was man, we keep saying snap calls tonight. I didn't hear anything on the radio until we were pitting, but there's at least 7 trucks coming down pit road.
Luttrell did type in the driver chat that he was pitting in there.
Bigger story, though. Look at that, 19 to go, and they're pitting. That is bigger than I thought the fuel window was.
Be interesting to see how this works out here. There's heavy checkups there in that bottom lane right now coming out of turn 2. But up at the front of the pack now, Jeff Gilmore leading for, I think, the first time tonight.
I would agree with that. First time tonight for Jeff Gilmore. And that means Aaron Raymond up top. Aaron Raymond now wants to lead the field on around. And we're still moving on around through the field here at Daytona, working lap 72. Who comes down this time? I see 1 truck alone. That is bad news for that truck who just came down pit road. That is the 5? No, it's not the 5.
7.
I apologize. That is Charles Fletcher.
Fletcher played a couple laps earlier tonight.
I'm too old to do this, but it's the 6-7.
Oh no. I still don't get the meme, man. I don't get it.
Yeah, no one gets it. That's okay. You're just supposed to say it. I don't think anyone knows what 6-7 is. It's from a song. I know that, but I think it's something the kids just yell nowadays. It's 6-7. Just to sound kind of cool. Yeah, no, it doesn't.
So is
you
that,
have kids.
So is that what Heim time actually is?
Maybe that's exactly what it is. We're going another lap around here at Daytona, and Jeff Gilmore still doing a good job controlling that bottom lane. Aaron Raymond's trying to sneak up top here and see if he can take the lead away. Now working lap 74. Now we're where we thought we were, which is 17 to go, and we thought this would probably be when the pit window would open.
Yeah, I expect to see a bunch of these trucks dive down here on a pit road here within the next lap or so. It's definitely time. Now, the level of anticipation, but the level of excitement that we're going to see here, they're closing this thing out. You know, we've seen craziness all race long. Once these guys are able to make it on fuel, I'm expecting some haymakers to be thrown here.
Yeah, I would expect that as well. We're also going to see if we can catch some lap cars, but more trucks down pit road. And there's at least another 7. So they're coming in big groups here. And I see there's Witt down. Oh, there's a truck.
One truck around.
Another truck. Addo. And a bunch of pit road speeding. I heard Swafford, McKellar, and Witt, at least 3 of them, just got caught speeding.
Tough break there. And you can't dig out of that hole here on this last stop. You're going to need them to wreck and hope that you somehow don't lose a lap in the process.
Yeah, that's going to be the concern, right? And hoping something happens for you. And just one truck by himself right now. You see on your screen, he's riding around hoping something happens. That's the old Terry Labonte Roadrunner scheme talked about earlier. So he's kind of riding around here all by himself. And there you see Jim Duda on the bottom of the track. He's trying to track out. So lots of trucks everywhere. It'll take a few laps before they can get cycled back through. But for the moment, Jeff Gilmore is riding it out up front. Sheldon, he's hoping that something does happen and he can pit under yellow, I think, versus pitting under green.
Yeah, but good news for him, though. He's got decent company behind him. A bunch of trucks still opting to stay out. See a couple diving down pit road here, though.
This is Noah Swafford. This is, the speeding on pit road. And wow.
Yeah. Not only is that speeding, that's an unsafe pit exit as well.
Not only that, he's going to have an upset groundskeeper who's really upset about the work he did in the grass there.
That's right. They'll probably delete it next year.
Probably so. Well, here we go around the track yet again. It is Gilmore. It is Thomas Lane. It's Aaron Raymond in your top 3. And you see that one truck up top that is trying. That's your former leader in TJ Wash. He is now getting moved to the back and quickly as the only car in the top lane.
Yeah, now everybody just plotting their course. The guys still got to come down pit road here and take that last top off of fuel.
Yeah, any moment now you expect it to happen. Don't do, ooh, a little bit of ride up top. Don't do that if you're the leader in Jeff Gilmore, because those trucks will get up under you and move you to the back like they did TJ Wash. But you think right now, it's about, what, 14 to go, and there's Swafford coming down now, probably likely serving the penalty for all the stuff that happened. And he'll come down.
That's going to be a long penalty for him, too, because, you know, not only was it the speeding, but he also got the unsafe pit exit. And couple that with the fact he was probably going about 105, 110 there.
Yeah, that was a big speeding penalty he had there. So he'll likely be out, at least out of contention for this race, and we'll see what happens as we move on. Now working only 13 to go. We know pit stops still happening for, I'd say, the front 10 cars on track. Again to go. So boy, that window we thought, remember these guys last pitted back on lap 62. It is now lap 79. They're now working 17 laps green. So they really are just waiting to run this thing dry and hoping something happens, and it almost did, because Lane Jr. almost just ran into the front end of Aaron Raymond right there and chopped his nose off.
The question we got to be asking ourselves too, you know, we've seen a lot of cautions around pitting here tonight. I wonder if we're going to see another touch of that.
I think it's going to happen this time. Jeff Gilmore was just asking, when is it going to happen, guys? When are we doing it? So let's see what's going to happen. Is it this time? We'll see when they start to come off of the corner. If it's going to happen, they'll start to pull down and roll up those trucks, get on the brake pedals, and yep, there it is. There's Gilmore and more. Look at this. There's a lot of trucks involved. There are a lot of choreography.
That's about to be a problem.
And I think they're all going to work it out.
Look at how aggressive a send that. I couldn't get the number on the truck that did it, but one of those trucks just absolutely sent it there. Looked like he had the thing matted to the floor, and picks up about 5 or 6 spots in the process. As Jeff Gilmore, your race leader, coming in, massive mistake in the box, overshoots it, has to back it up.
Yeah, that'll hurt him. That'll cause him to lose his lead. He's going to come back out. Luckily, he's going to at least stay in. Yeah, wow.
That was impressive, and honestly, that works out in his favor, though, because it's going to allow the trucks behind him to stay packed up a little bit closer, giving them a little bit more opportunity to get a good launch here, as we see the field pretty much swallow them up, though, through 1 and 2. That's the 20 machine of Zane Bailey.
That is luck for Gilmore that he's going to get to stay right where he is, because he must have just barely missed that pit song, and it worked out quickly because, wow. Well, now it's Zane Bailey up front. This is the driver you picked out earlier. He's being pushed around by Ted Reichik. You got Paul Witt back in third, David Overstreet back in fourth, and James Yerger back in P5. Now, some of these trucks will be pushing it. You think Zane Bailey back on lap 72, he pitted. He's got to get all the way to lap 90. If I was Zane Bailey and I pitted on 72, the last thing I would want to do, Sheldon, is lead this race right now.
I don't know, though. I feel like Zane Bailey might be able to throw some aggressive blocks here when it comes crunch time. I mean, he's been up here at the front. He's made great decisions all night. I don't feel like he's going to stop doing that here.
Yeah, I'm just worried about being the leader. You're burning the most gas, and I'm wondering if that's what they're setting him up for. So we'll wait and see how that plays out here. Now only 10, about to be 9 laps to go. Single-digit laps to go here at Daytona. Happy you're along for the ride. Stay tuned for the finish. It's going to get good here on Green Flag TV. The leaders are coming up on a car. It's about to be a lap or more down. We'll navigate that. Probably I'd say about a lap or so based upon the distance right there. We'll see what happens. That's the 17 of Noah Swafford about to swallow up here. And Swafford, I mean, boy, Swafford went from having a great night to a really bad night just because of one pit stop.
Yeah, that's all it takes. One mistake. A little too aggressive coming into pit road. Overshoot it, speed all at the same time. It's worst case scenario for him, but, you know, big kudos, though, keeping his head in it, still staying out here on the track. You know, definitely gearing himself up to maybe pick up a little bit of points here to soften the blow. And if he gets a big wreck, you know, he can pick up a handful of spots where it's all said and done with. So that's a driver with the big picture in mind.
Swafford, by the way, already 1 lap down. This right here should put him 2 laps down, unfortunately. That's the hardest part to accept sometimes in the red, right? When you're 1 lap down, you're full of hope. You're like, hey, listen, 1 caution, and I'm in this, right? And who knows what happens. When you get 2 laps down at anywhere, it just feels like a much bigger mountain to climb.
Yeah, 1 lap you can get back 2. Nowhere near as easy. Let's see a little bit of jockeying for position further in the pack here. Some of these guys trying to work their way around lap traffic. That was almost a dicey move there. That works out for Gilmore though. Gets himself underneath the 10 machine of May. Going to take up an extra spot here at the back of this first pack.
Yep, that's the 13 of William McKellar and the 4 of Cody Witt on the bottom. They stuck to the bottom as lap cars. They did not move up. And as you said at the beginning of this broadcast, that's okay. As long as you do it and you become predictable and you're not moving and you
and around.
Hold on. And it's all over the track.
Machine.
That's Aaron Raymond. He's going to hit the wall hard. And caution is out. There must be more because that was off track. I'd be surprised if that was your trigger point. But we are under yellow with 7 to go.
And that started 2 trucks in front. Dan Atkins gets to the back of the 19 machine of Yerger. Checks up to avoid getting into him, and it offsets the balance of that machine for Atkins. And next thing you know, he's making a little bit of contact, and they play a little bit of pinball, and yeah, Gilmore gets slammed hard into the fence. That's how I saw it happen.
There's your caution up
Gilmore
top.
Still.
There's your caution up top. Sorry to cut off, but when you see that truck went sideways on the track, that's going to be your caution point. So now it makes more sense. I thought first we were going to say green since they all went below the line.
You take every strategy that you built up, every plan that you'd made, every deal you made as well, and basically take that book, you brought all that in, set it on fire, and stomp on it in the backyard, because this entire race has been flipped on its head.
And I think the watch this again. So there's Gilmore. He's going to get that yellow car comes up. That's the 21. That's Dylan Wilbers comes up, and it has that contact that starts all this. You see even there's the back end of Wilbur's truck one flying back in the back of your screen. But I think the biggest beneficiary in a weird way of this caution is Zane Bailey. I just said he pitted back on lap 72. He was hoping to stretch this about 18, 19 laps on a tank of fuel. So, oh boy, that truck right there got some airtime. But Bailey now gets to ride under caution and conserve some fuel.
Like I say, some Duke boys are at it again.
Yeah. That's another reference. We're doing a good job at dating ourselves tonight in some ways. Let's see if Zane Bailey's in the Discord here. I see James Yeager, I see Michael Gutter, Zane Bailey. Let's talk with Zane. Let's see how nervous he is. Let's see what he's thinking about right now. Let's go ahead and pull him up into the broadcast booth, and we're going to welcome in the driver who's leading the race, Zane Bailey, into the Green Flag TV broadcast booth. Zane Bailey, you're leading here. Likely about 4 to go, maybe, when we go green. How big are the butterflies?
I mean, they're definitely there, but I got some teammates around me, and we'll just try to stick together and help each other, and hopefully we don't get wrecked out.
So before the yellow, how good were you on fuel to make it to the end of this race?
I definitely had enough fuel, and I have enough fuel for both green, white checkers.
Did you have enough fuel for those before the yellow?
I was going to be close for a second green, white checker, but now I definitely have enough for both green, white checkers.
All right, well, it looks like you're going to have probably Paul Witt, James Yerger behind you pushing. You're going to have, I think it's going to be Ted Reichik on the outside. Are you going to be happy holding the inside, or do you want to try to control both lanes, or what's the plan here?
I like being on the bottom if you're in the first 2 guys, but if you're behind that, you just get freight trained. So I like where I am.
All right, well, listen, well, good luck. Maybe we'll talk to you later. We'll put you back down with your Ford Racing teammates and wish you the best of luck.
Yep, thank you.
All right, that is Zane Bailey. We'll put him back down with his teammates. Well, much to maybe my concern or our concerns about fuel, he seemed pretty confident about that fuel tank.
Yeah, just better hope that we don't get any green, white checkers here in the process. But I mean, these guys can save a little bit of fuel so long as we don't go too far over. You know, once you start going over and put extra laps on the cars, that's where you really start to run into that issue.
Well, let's recap how it's going to work. The lights in the pace car will go out this time by, and so this time by will get the 1 to go signal from race control. That'll put us at, I believe, 4 to go. Going to come around one more time. We'll take the green flag with 3 to go. So this will be the last restart in regulation. If anything happens here, we bring out a caution. We'll do one of our overtime attempts, and we'll see what happens. If you're Zane Bailey, if you're Ted Reichik, Paul Witt, probably just want this thing to be over, right? You just kind of want this thing just to be over and to hold on to your top 3 spots and see what happens. But we'll wait and see if that prophecy does hold true. Well, right now, I mean, with the nature of the beast, so to speak, Sheldon, asking these guys to be patient for 3 laps feels like an impossible task.
It's not going to happen.
Like asking a dog not to bark.
No, we're about to see total chaos. If we haven't seen a blowover yet, we're at the most likely point in the evening to see one. And if you're Zane Bailey, you're just sitting there, yelling at the officials here in the league that there's rain off of turn 3.
Now there's water bottles, rain, a bunny rabbit, like whatever you can find to make an excuse for to keep the caution out here, I think.
Yeah, anything you come up with.
I see some debris down in turn 1.
I see Jesse Love has the lead. Kinds of things.
Yep, see all kinds of things happening here. So happy you're along with us. We're going to probably end right about the same time, a few laps before the ending of the Xfinity Championship race. You can tune in there once we're done and watch that on your local CW affiliate and see who wins that race. Happy along for the ride, though. Happy you're here with us. Once again, Nolan Rimple and Lucas Moody will return back to the broadcast next week here, and part of this 10-race series. This Super Speedway Blitz League runs all the way through the month of December. So we're happy to have them on board as one of our 13 different leagues here on Green Flag TV. Lights in the pace car out. You have to imagine that the bunny rabbits, the butterflies, whatever animal you get in the pit of your stomach when you get nervous has got to be the size of an elephant right now. Because everybody who grows up an auto racing fan, if you grew up a NASCAR fan, Sheldon, winning a Daytona, that's it. You dream of winning the Super Bowl or whatever. But winning a Daytona is what every NASCAR fan dreams of.
Winning Daytona, I mean, honestly, winning any track anywhere at any point, especially with as competitive as iRacing is, means a lot.
Well, let's see if we can get Zane Bailey notch yet another win off the list, or someone else does it as a surprise. Green flag is out, a little bit of contact, but we're going to stay green. But right now, here we go around the track, working another lap here around, and right now it's side by side. It is Bailey, it is Reichik leading the packs.
Door to door through 1 and 2. Reichik trying to find the momentum on the top line, but Bailey getting a huge push from behind. Two truck tangos up at the front of the pack as the bottom line starts to form up more through 1 and 2.
3 laps to go, 2.5 laps to go now as we get to the back straight of the track. Lots of drivers moving on around. A couple of drivers in the back below the line. They're okay. We'll keep racing. But right now, it's Bailey on the bottom. It's Reichik up top. It's that 48 truck up top that we saw. He's trying to push. That's David Overstreet. Can he push to the lead? It doesn't look like right now. Bailey's got the lane out of 4.
Zane Bailey able to clear now, but not for long. Here comes the 27 machine of Reichik again, pulling up to the door here through the tri-oval. It's going to be a no separation here as we take 2 laps to go from Daytona.
Popsicle sticks in the air from Barney the Flagman. 2 laps to go, going on around. It's Bailey on the bottom. It's Reichik up top. There's a 3rd lane forming. That's a couple trucks up top. They're trying to make something happen. They're coming up through the field. Can they get involved in this with a lap and a half to go in the wall? Daytona scattering.
They're involved, all right.
Staying green. We're still good. 4 wide back through the pack. We sorted out. It's still Bailey. It's still Reichik. Now it is Overstreet and Witt pushing. Dan Adkins is back involved.
And door to door, bit of a hip check here from the 27 machine down to the inside line. There's contact. The 2 trucks are hooked together. Paul Witt sliding up into the 27 machine. Here comes a huge push from the 48 as they come to the line to take 1 lap to go from Daytona.
1 lap to go at Daytona. The Sim Racing Associates' opening race, the Super Speedway Blitz Series. All bets are off. No yellow flag. We race around no matter what happens. And look at up top again. There's another 3rd lane forming. Can they get involved and be more efficient than the first one? But it's Bailey. It's Reichik on the back. There's a 3rd lane coming around. Do they have the time? Car on the wall. We're going to stay green. Oh, there's a blowover on the bottom of the track. We're going to stay green. Let's race it out. We'll come back to that replay later. Reichik now has the lead. He has about a half a truck lead on Bailey, out of 3 and 4. Who's going to get it is the question. They're side by side. They're pushing. They're bumping. He falls back. Bailey's getting the incredible push from Witt in the 429. Out of turn 4, Zane Bailey gets a lead. Witt gets turned around, and Bailey wins at Daytona. Wow, 2 different blowovers in the last lap. 30.
Boom confetti.
Ask and ye shall receive, Sheldon Atkins.
Oh, it looked like somebody kicked an anthill there on the start-finish line. We had trucks up into the catch fence. We had, what, 2 blowovers, 2 at the same time?
Wow.
What a finish.
Let's do this replay by replay. Let's start with the back straight. And this is going to be the first one we saw this slam off to TV right. And we'll now be on the left with the way the camera's faced here. It's going to come right there. That is the 28 involved. That's also Dylan Wilbur. No, sorry, that's Wash and the 16 right there. But that 28 truck is upside down on the back straight. He's going to flip it and stick the landing in a painful way.
Well, let's just hope he's not running direct drive, because that one would probably hurt a little bit.
And that was Jorge Rincon right there. And there's Zane Bailey. He's burning it out. He's celebrating a win as he should. Paul Witt got a nasty, nasty bump from somebody coming around to the start-finish line. He got up in the air a little bit right before the finish of this race. And I think when that happened and that momentum broke, it allowed Zane Bailey just to pull away and take the lead.
You know what? I'm glad they saved it for the last lap, though.
Yeah, I am too. That was a great last lap. I mean, heck, if we just watched the whole thing, it would just be exciting. But let's watch what's going to happen to Paul Witt here, I believe. There's Michael Gudger involved, but up front, watch Paul Witt. That's the second car in line on the bottom. He's going to get a bad bump from behind. Oh, no, I think he does, and then comes up. And that truck is 1, 2, 3, 4 wheels. You can see the bottom of the truck. If you want to do tech inspection, welcome. Oh, and there he is higher in the air. There's a full 360. And then on his back lid and on around is Paul Witt.
Thank God this is on sim and not in real life, because that would be a couple weeks off right there for that
Hope that guy's
429
not
machine.
Either VR or a motion rig.
I'd throw up.
Yeah. Watch it again.
We get wrecks like that on GB. What we typically do is we throw on the gyro camera.
So I'm not sure if he just got a bad bump from the machine behind, or if he just moved up a little too far. But boy, and look at the calamity. Look at it just broke loose. I mean, you're right. The start-finish line just looked like a tow yard when it was done. Boy, oh boy. Well, whew, that was a lot. That was a last lap that was busy and fun and exciting. And watch it one more time. This will be from Aaron May in the 10. Watch what he's going to see. Hello. That shades of the Austin Dillon Daytona wreck.
Look at that.
Yep.
Drives underneath that truck while it's bouncing.
Remember about 10 years ago when they drove under Austin Dillon 3 wide at the start finish, and that's what that felt like in sim form.
You remember when Joey Logano got flipped over at Dega a couple years back, and Bubba drove under him and finished like top 5?
Same thing, yeah, absolutely.
Missing like a corner off his roof.
Meanwhile, if you're Paul Witt, you felt like Elliott Sadler at Talladega in the moment right there. All right, well, let's do this. Let's take a look at tonight's unofficial results after lap 90 and see where they lined up here at the start-finish line at Daytona. Of course, your race winner, Zane Bailey, wins. You'll have Carter Casey, who at one point was 2 laps down in 91, back in P2. Dan Adkins, P3. Maurice Gomillins back in P4. And then David Overstreet back in P5. Then is Fletcher, Hinton, Reichik, Bawalda, and Thomas Lane in your top 10.
Bringing home 11th place is going to be Michael Gudger, who led a large portion of the night. 12th going to James Yerger with Cody Witt in 13th. 14th place going to be Joshua Jernigan with Joshua Burke in 15th. 16th place going to Paul Witt with Jim Barg in 17th. And then running out your top 20 is going to be Jeff Gilmore, TJ Washed, and Aaron Raymond.
We move back into P1. You'll find Aaron May. He's the last car on the lead lap. Then Jorge Rincon, William McKellar, Dylan Wilbers, and Jim Duda 1 lap down. There's Nola Swafford, Stephen Luttrell, Matthew Post, Lieben Van Leer, and Ned Wharton. Many laps down, did not finish this race.
Bringing home 31st is going to be Joe Nordine with David Harbottle, Michael Doe, Seth Wilbur, Larry Eddy, Jordan Jung, Adam S. Biberich, Gregory Smith, and sorry about that, Jamie DeVoe running at the top 39.
And that's a look top to bottom in tonight's unofficial results at Daytona. We'll start to enter into our post-race show. Wait and see if our leader is, or our winner, also our leader, is available for comment. Let's see if we can find him here. See if he's available. He might still be out celebrating after that exciting win, and he should. He should celebrate, because that was a moment worth remembering. I think we finally have him available here. Zane Bailey. Well, we just did this talk a few laps ago, but buddy, that was exciting. Maybe not for you. You had a good, clean run, but what did you see in your back mirror coming to the start-finish line?
Some guys going up and getting to other people's left rears and taking them out. I got lucky, starting on the bottom and outside, not being able to clear down low in front of me. And also, Paul wasn't able to clear up into the second lane. That worked out pretty well, because if he got clear, I'm guessing he probably would have taken it, and then I probably would have dropped like a rock. So it worked out pretty well.
Well, you start this season off pretty well. Race 1, win 1. So this new season is the Superspeedway Blitz, or the Speedway Blitz. This feels pretty good for you.
Yeah, it definitely does. Just hope I can continue my good finishes throughout the season. I'm a bit better in trucks than Gen 4. I just hope truck setups are loose.
All right, well, listen, we'll let you go and get back to celebrating. I do have one question for you. It is sort of, at least in the States, after Halloween is Discount Candy Day. You can go to the store and get all the discount candy no one bought. What is Zane Bailey's favorite candy bar?
I don't really like candy bars, but I like M&Ms.
Regular M&Ms, peanut M&Ms,
Yeah.
pretzel M&Ms, preference?
Regular or peanut.
Regular or peanut. There you go. Well, Zane, listen, it's always a pleasure watching your race. Anyone you want to give a shout out to or say hello to?
My teammates, Ted, James, Michael. I feel bad for Michael. He got taken out by Aaron, and then Ted and James got taken out by Paul. So, yeah, it sucks for them.
All right. Well, listen, it was a pleasure talking to you, and we'll hope to see you next week in the Speedway Blitz series.
Yep, thank you.
All right. Well, that is Zane Bailey, and that is, I think, our only interview. I do not believe second and third place are available this evening, Sheldon, but I think it's fair to say this race offered everything you expect from Daytona.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, big night of racing, big moves, big blocks, big pushes, and big wrecks, too. So, you know, we had a lot of chaotic moments here tonight, but, you know, par for the course for trucks at Daytona, and I think these guys honestly did a really good job putting together a compelling and strong race without too many hiccups. I mean, there wasn't a point in the night where we were sitting here scratching our heads wondering what we were doing. So SRA definitely brought a good package to the track this week and gave us one heck of a show.
One heck of a show, Neil. If you want to see one heck of a show, tune in tomorrow night for the Blazing Puddles Arca League at Auto Club. They'll pull on a heck of a show. It'll be Justin Prince and Emmett Crow on the call. Happy to see you there. And also 1 week from tonight, this series will continue for the SRA Speedway Blitz series. And once again, I want to say congrats to Zane Bailey on the win here at Daytona. For my producer, Nolan Ripple, for Sheldon Atkins, I am Derek Watson, saying if you missed this race and you want to catch this race or any race from the SRA across their different series, you can catch all of them live on the Green Flag TV YouTube channel. Want to get your league broadcasted? Head over to www.greenflagtv.com and see what we can do for you. But for now, once again, congrats to Zane Bailey, and so long from Daytona.